Ken Whiting with Paddle TV, roadside with another paddling adventure and gear testing. Today I'm doing another section of water that I've never done before, and I'm only about 45 minutes from home. This is a section of the Mississippi from right in the middle of Almont, Ontario. Well, I'm not right in the middle of the city, but very close. And I'm paddling down to a small town called Pakenham, and I'm testing out the Delta Kayaks 15.5 GT. It's hot already. I'm sweating already. We've got about 10 miles to go, and there's a couple of rapids in here. So I'm not sure if they're going to be runnable or not, depends on the water level, but should be a good test. And if nothing else, it'll be a fantastic paddle. So time to start paddling, stop talking, and then when I'm on the water, I'll tell you more about the kayak and the adventure. See you in a bit. Off we go! It's funny, I've driven past this body of water probably in my lifetime thousands of times. I know there's one good-sized rapid which I may or may not be able to run in this kayak. I mean, this is a thermoformed kayak, and if you don't know what that means, there are really three ways kayaks are made. You have, on the very high end, you have composite kayaks, carbon Kevlar, and actually a company recently came up with a flax weave, but they're very expensive, very light, high performance, but very expensive. On the other end of the spectrum, you have rotomolded kayaks, and that's where they put plastic into a mold and heat it up in an oven and just spin it around. The plastic coats the outside of the mold, and when it's done, they pop the mold and boom, et voila, you have a kayak. The third way they make kayaks is this, thermoforming, and it's kind of the middle of the bunch. They mold these thinner layers of plastic to the top and the bottom separately, and then they weld them together around the edges. And the great thing about that is that it can be a much thinner, harder, stiffer plastic that they use. And that's called thermoforming. And so you end up with a higher performing kayak than a rotomolded kayak that's lighter. Two great features to have. And that's how they make this thing 15.5 feet long, under 50 pounds, which is just awesome. But there are trade-offs. It's not as durable as a rotomolded kayak. It's still remarkably durable. How durable, I might be testing today, but it can take hits. It's still plastic, but it can't take as many hits. Scratching on rocks is not a big issue, but hitting sharp rocks hard can be an issue. It can crack more easily than a rotomolded kayak. Rotomolded kayaks, I mean, you can drag on rocks. That's what whitewater kayaks are made, how they're made, and so it's extremely durable. It's more of a softer plastic that you can get some good deep scratches and gouges out of, and you bounce into rocks and it kind of caves in, and it's like a Tupperware container. This, not so much, but it sure is pretty. Let me give you a quick rundown of, well, what I'm using and a bit more information about the kayak that I'm testing here. First of all, what I've got with the kayak is the paddle I'm using. This is the Aquabound Whiskey carbon paddle. This is a feather light paddle. It's so nice. May not be the right choice when I get into rocky whitewater. It isn't the right choice, but incredibly strong. And if I'm careful, I'll be fine. I'm also bringing the Gear Lab Outdoors iPick Greenland paddle on the back deck as a backup. Up front here, I have the Gear Lab Outdoors Deck Pod 2 bag for touring kayaks. I just love bringing this bag along. I have, oh, look at that muskrat. Well, see you, buddy. I love rivers. It's these bags, I've got food and water basically in that bag. This section, well, you know what? Other gear I'm bringing, I might be dealing with fast moving water or even white water. I have a skirt. I'm not wearing it now because it's hot. It's really hot out. But I will, I've got the skirt behind me here in case I need it. Now, as for the Delta Kayaks 15.5 GT, here is just a real quick rundown on its specs. So the 15.5 GT has a retail price of $2,350 US. It's 15.5 feet long. It's 24 inches wide. It weighs only 49 pounds, and it has a capacity of 400 pounds. Its primary use is for pretty much all conditions touring. Now, I love it when they say all conditions touring, because that's pretty much a license to put a kayak to the test in all conditions, which I should be able to get to do today. Well, we have our first little bit of current here. I wouldn't exactly call this whitewater, but it is definitely an opportunity to put the first real scratches in this boat if I don't choose the right line. When you're looking at water like this and trying to pick the right line, so much of it is about where you see the most water flowing through on the backside, because the waves themselves in the rapid, we call that a rapid, but the waves themselves aren't always an indicator of where the most water, the deepest channel is. What is always an indication is the outflow, is how much water current is there after the rapid. And so there I was looking for where's the most water after the fact flowing through. And we got another rapid to test that theory once again. Right or left? Oh, I think the left is my best shot at not beating this boat up. And you can see all the flow coming through on the left-hand channel, far left. Nice. This bow is nice and high, really sheds the water beautifully. All right. Oh yeah. Oh, got one. There we go. Oh, another one coming up. Oh no, I just missed it. First scratch. Bam. Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. One of the things about running rapids in a kayak of this length, these are not designed for running rapids. Really, when I say that, what they're not designed for is quick maneuvers. And so they're kind of like rafts in the sense that so much of your success is establishing your line well in advance and setting the angle, being online, because you don't have a lot of room for movement after that point. And so much of that comes down to picking the right line from the very beginning. So experience reading whitewater really plays a big role. Well, this is probably a good time to give my first feedback on this kayak, the Delta Kayak 15.5 GT. This is the first Delta Kayak that I've ever tried, even though I've wanted to try one for quite some time. I just had trouble getting my hands on one. And straight up, I'm really impressed with this kayak. I mean, it's not a cheap kayak. It goes for $2,350 US, which isn't cheap, but it's not extremely expensive. I mean, composite kayaks of this size and nature are going to be well over $3,000, probably $3,500 up to like $6,000 US. So $2,300 is it could be an unreasonable price if the boat didn't deserve it, but this is when I first grabbed it and I didn't even know the retail price of it, I was admiring it and thinking to myself, ooh, like just nice finishings, nice, well thought out boat. The features are really good in this thing. We'll start with comfort. the seat system is really nice. Like, I've been going for a solid hour and a half right now, maybe even 2 hours, and my butt is just fine. Now, there's no hip pads in this thing. You could totally add hip pads, but the back band of this goes up and down, and I found a sweet spot where it provides really nice lower back support. And it's easy to adjust and to lock into place with this little cleat system you've got here. The foot peg system is bomber. Like, I've been pushing on them and they're solid. I've got a rudder on this version. He comes standard with a skeg, but this is the rudder version. And I haven't used the rudder yet because, hey, I knew it was gonna be shallow and I was gonna have some current, and I just don't, unless I'm in doing big open water with wind, I don't bother using the rudder. For this type of thing, I don't use it. In big water, absolutely I would be using it. But very comfortable boat, lots of foot room. I'm 6'2", 195 pounds, size 10 feet, 34-inch inseam, and I've got lots of room. You could be bigger than I am, for sure. You could be 6'5". The bulkhead is about, yeah, I'd say 6'5", and you'd probably be maxing this out. 36-inch inseam would probably be as big as you'd want to be. As your feet get bigger too, it would start to tighten up. But that's the case with any touring kayak, because they're only, this one's 24 inches wide. And that's, you know, that's a nice, actually, it's a good width for performance. And so let's talk about performance. This thing is wonderfully stable, so easy to get in and out. I mean, I just plop my butt in and then I put my legs in afterwards, because there's lots of room to do that, and it's very stable, so it makes it easy to get in and out of. You know, I'm fine in the whitewater. It's got great secondary stability. When I hold it on edge like this, you can see I'm just bounced on edge and I'm not worried about flipping. It's solid that way too. Very stable boat. 24 inches wide. It's not designed specifically for stability, that's for sure. It's designed for speed, to travel efficiently through the water, so you can cover distance. And but it also, at 24 inches, it's not designed exclusively for speed. It also is designed to provide a nice stable platform, and it totally does that. Yeah, you know, honestly, very impressed with this thing. Now, going back to the price of this thing, I'll tell you, like, the things that stood out to me right away as being high quality, not just the build. That is an important part. The thermoforming of this thing, the fact that it's under 50 pounds, 15.5 feet long, that's big. The hatch systems, these are awesome. And this day hatch in the front here, which is huge. I have a ton of stuff in here. And I love that. I hate when the day hatches in the front here. I love having one here, easy access, but I hate when they're too small to use. Like, look what I've got in here. And I got room to spare. I got some coconut water. I got my sunscreen. I got a big bag of nuts. I could fit a lot more stuff, not a lot more stuff, but I could definitely fit more stuff in there. And it's a really easy system it's not going to be waterproof. It's going to be water resistant, but if you flipped and this thing was upside down for a while, wow, you got to expect some water is going to get in there. That's the case with all hatches of touring kayaks, sea kayaks. You expect water to get in. You know, the other hatches, the bow and stern hatches too, good size, lots of room. Totally take this on a kayak camping trip. Got a sore neck. I don't know if you could tell there. I could hardly turn around to see where I'm going. But you know, I really like the hatch system. I haven't seen a hatch system like this before, where, yeah, they're just relatively easy to put on. It's easy to put the hatch on and take it off. There's a bungee system where if you don't have strong fingers, it could be a little tricky to get it on and off. But you kind of want that. You want these hatches to be secure. So nice features, nice boat. I'm looking forward. It's been good to take it into this class 1 whitewater, but I'm looking forward to pushing it a bit more. I'm hoping, I know there's a bigger rapid up ahead. I'm hoping that it's deep enough, channeled enough that I can actually get this kayak down without putting undue stress on the boat, not to mention me. Well, there is the bridge up ahead. About a half mile up there. That's the beginning of Blakeney Rapids. The definitely the most significant piece of water that I need to get through. I'm gonna get wet, but that's okay. I'll have to put my skirt on, but that's okay. All right, well, hopped out of the kayak and gonna take a quick look at what we got down below here. Such a beautiful spot. Well, there's water, but it's pretty spread out down there. It's gonna be hard to not be banging on rocks, that's for sure. I'm gonna go take a look along the shoreline. This is a really cool park along the riverside. I wish all scouts or portages was as cool as this. Oh, look at this. I love it. The crux of the rapid is really the bottom part. The top part is pretty spread out, and it's going to be a bump and grind. The question is how much of a bump and grind, but then the bottom is the part where it gets a little trickier, a little bigger, and potential for bigger hits on the boat, more than just deep scratches. So we shall soon find out. All right, well, it's bony. The water is divided just up here, so there might be a bit more current on the other side of this island. This is going to be bouncy. The other side looks like it might be okay. I don't know. I think I'm going to work my way down and make a decision as I go. Worst case scenario is I have to hop out and walk up the bank and portage a section of it, but this will be fun. Here we go. Okay, that's a bigger hit than I was expecting. Now, I don't know. This big rock right here. Cut overboard. Just gonna have to go through it. Not much choice. Come on. Slow down. That'll do. Ooh, yeah. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Awesome. A few scratches on the bottom. This boat has gone from new to used, but that was really cool. And, you know, it is a testament to the boat to be able to handle that. I've made it 5 miles, and I've got 5 more miles to go. But maybe I'll just wrap things up now, because, you know, 5 miles and a whole bunch of whitewater, including that good last rapid, is enough to get a great feel for this kayak. Overall, I really like this kayak. Beautiful kayak. You know, a lot of people have commented on the channel how I need to test a Delta Kayak. They're really big fans of them, and I now see why. You know, it is a really nice craft, well made, thoughtfully made, and comfortable. It is nice and fast on the water, nice and stable. It's all in all, it's light. It's just a great all-around kayak. Now, I wouldn't want to be doing stuff like that very often in this thing. I mean, I think I probably took a year off this thing's life, and I can feel the bottom. It's pretty scraped up, and I'll probably need to give it a little spit and polish afterward to make it feel smooth and yeah, give it some love. I need to give it some love after doing something like that. You don't want to be getting a kayak like this and doing stuff like that, especially when it's that shallow. very often at all. But the fact that it performed well in those conditions really is a testament to the kayak and its build quality. So yeah, you know, 2 thumbs up for the Delta Kayak 15.5 GT. This is a kayak I would highly recommend. And just say who it's for. It is a touring kayak. It's not a high performance touring kayak, but it is a touring kayak. And what defines a touring kayak for me? Well, it means 2 bulkheads. There's a bulkhead just in front of the feet and a bulkhead behind the seat. And what a bulkhead is, if you don't know, is it's a wall inside the kayak that separates the kayak into distinct compartments. So if I had swamped there, only the center compartment would have swamped. The 2 end compartments would be still full of air and the boat would be buoyant. It makes it way easier to rescue the boat, recover the boat, deal with a swamped boat. And if you're in open water, get back into the kayak on the water. So that's a big part of being a touring kayak. The other thing is it's got a small cockpit, so I can use a skirt on it. It also has thigh hooks. They're not aggressive thigh hooks, but using a skirt, you can totally roll this thing. It's and that's another element that makes a touring kayak a step up from a recreational touring kayak. You know, this is, so who is this for? It's for someone who wants a touring kayak, a kayak that can you can take on pretty much any kind of water. It's not designed for high-end rough water, but it can deal with it. If you encounter it. If you're really going to be dealing with a lot of rough water, you want to get a higher performance touring kayak. But it can deal with it. It can deal with anything. I'm confident of that. So there you have it. You know, final thought, $2,300 US. You know, it goes for, I've seen it around 2,700 Canadian. That's a chunk of change. That's a chunk of change for anyone. So it's not going to be a kayak for everyone. You have to be able to afford a kayak like this to begin with. But if you do have the money and you are looking for an all-round lightweight touring kayak, something that can really do anything but is not really designed for the highest end of paddling, then this is definitely a kayak to consider. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, a different type of gear review. I have certainly enjoyed doing it, and I am going to continue to do more of these exploratory / gear reviews, because even if you don't like them, I love them. But you know, now's the time I tell everyone to leave a comment down below. Hey, I mean, tell me if you do like these types of gear reviews. But if you've been spending some time in this boat, had experience in this boat more than I have, share your thoughts, share your experiences in this, and let people know what you like, what you don't like, any limitations. And otherwise, stay tuned, because we got lots more paddling tips, paddling gear reviews, and paddling adventures coming your way.